Welcome to Going Beyond. Thank you once again for joining us on this program. Today, I have a very different type of guest. He's from New Zealand, and his name is Baden Brown. Now, he's doing a fascinating thing, something that most of us wouldn't even dream of. He's going for 35,000 kilometers on his two-wheeler, on his motorbike. And he's here to tell us all about this. And of course, he started in New Zealand, but I'm not going to take it away from him. I'm going to let him explain to me. First of all, what prompted you to do something like this? I mean, 35,000 kilometers is no joke, Baden.
Well, I think the first thing is I enjoy adventure. So,
Really, obviously.
yeah, so I've always wanted to do something a little bit adventurous, a little bit crazy, but I didn't really have an opportunity to do that. And then as I did have the opportunity, then I felt I don't just want to do it for the fun. I'd like to do it for a reason, for a cause. Yeah.
So what's that cause then?
Yeah, well, there's a lady who I think is well known to people in Chennai in particular. Her name is 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗏. Now known as Dr. 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗏. She has a doctorate, an honorary doctorate that she was given. But she originally came from the town where I live, Wanganui, New Zealand. And I've known about her for many years, but I didn't really have a close relationship with her. I wanted to understand what it was that she was doing, and also to, if I could, do something meaningful to help the work that she's already started.
Right. I do know, and I'm fairly familiar with her work because she has very well-known CMCT, I think is what
That's
she
right.
has started, and she runs it. She's got children there. There are orphans there. They're very well looked after. And it's a very successful NGO in this city. And she still continues to run it after living here for 60 plus years.
Yeah, unfortunately, Colleen is now confined to a bed, but in her wisdom, and I think this is a really wonderful thing, many people have come from other countries as missionaries and set up organizations, but then when they have got to the end of their lives, those mission organizations have folded up or ceased to operate because they haven't had the foresight to create a plan B.
That's right.
Yes. Passing on the baton. So she has, in her wisdom, she has created a very, very good team of people who are now carrying on the work of CMCT in her place.
I know about that, and I understand what you're saying. Your involvement, though, by doing this, by coming through Chennai, by coming because of 𝗕𝗲𝗄𝗏 being here, what do you hope to achieve by that?
Right, so there's a recognised need that the Bethany Healthcare Hospital that she helped develop in the early 1990s has been giving healthcare for many people over the years since it was first established. In fact, the figures are around about 24,000 consultations are given every year. And a lot of those consultations are for people who can't afford to pay for it themselves. And so the funding for this comes mostly from overseas. But there's a real threat that in the future that funding may not be available from overseas. And so the idea is that if we can make this hospital self-sustaining by upgrading it to the point where it can then attract people who are able to afford to pay for procedures, they will also be able to help subsidize people who can't afford it.
I think that will pick it up in a very big way. And it is not confined only to the Christian community. I mean, anybody can go in there.
Absolutely,
and
that's right.
I do know that the medical facilities that are available there are extremely good. I do know people who've actually been there. Now, let me move to you and your crazy, mad adventure, as you called it. When did you start it?
So I started planning it actually 7 years ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Did it take so long?
Well, mainly because when I wanted to do it, I wasn't able to. So the planning period took longer than normal. So I started on, and one of the reasons is I had to be in a position where I could leave the business and do this work, because it's a 6-month process from here to the UK. So in December last year, we were able to sell the business, one of the businesses we had, and I was then free to be able to come. So I started the ride on the 25th of February this year. So I'm now 3 months into the ride.
So have you always been a biker then?
No, I haven't. Only
Oh,
for about 10 years.
really?
Yeah.
That's not very long, is it?
No, and I'm 61 now, so I started at about 50 years old.
Right. So how much longer do you have to go now? You would have started. Let's go through the route that you have followed from New Zealand
Sure.
over to Australia, and then did you go in through Malaysia and
Yes.
Singapore and
So obviously there's
Asia?
sea in between the places I need to ride.
Yes.
So I left from Auckland. The bike went on a ship to Brisbane, and then from Brisbane I rode south through Australia to Melbourne, actually right down to the bottom, a place called Wilson's Promontory, and then across to the West Australia to Perth. And then to save time, the bike went on a plane up to Malaysia. I flew to Singapore to meet with supporters there, and then I took a bus to Malaysia, picked up the bike, and then rode through to Thailand, Laos, China, Tibet, Nepal, and then into India.
Wow.
So,
What has so far been the most interesting part of your trip? Or is that a stupid question?
no, it's not stupid at
Yeah?
all. Actually, every part has been very interesting. I think probably the most interesting, especially from a terrain perspective, was Tibet. Riding through the mountains is just incredible. These high peaks of over 6,000 meters, it's much
That's
higher than anything
high.
in New Zealand.
Absolutely.
By a long way.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, I believe that.
Yeah.
Yes. What was that like for you? Because you've had to encounter very different climatic conditions, road conditions, food conditions, all sorts of things. How have you coped successfully?
Well, I think one of the things that's important is to be adaptable, and I am open to eating pretty much anything. The most interesting thing I ate was fermented eggs.
Oops.
They were a green color, which actually looked worse than they tasted. They tasted fine.
Really?
Yeah, they were good actually.
I am not going to try that.
I think the most challenging thing was the riding at altitude and sleeping at altitude. It's hard to explain, but the air is so thin that you do struggle for breath.
Those rarefied atmospheres are very hard to, to breathe and
Yeah.
to handle that. When I was coming along, I was thinking to myself, what about the loneliness of actually traveling, traversing this whole thing that you've been doing? How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's a very real experience for me. I have felt lonely at times. What I do is I use social media as much as I can to communicate with people. So I have a YouTube channel, and I have Facebook and also Instagram. And so what that does is it generates conversation with different people, sometimes people I don't even know.
Right.
And it keeps me engaged. I guess the other thing, when we got to China and Tibet, you can't ride through those countries on your own. So I joined a group of people who were traveling in the same direction. We didn't know each other before we started. So it was nice to have that company for that period of the journey.
Right.
Yeah.
What about language, Baden? How did you cope? I mean, there's so many parts of Asia where English is not is a foreign language really. How did you manage that?
Well, I guess that there's always a way to communicate, enough to get the things that you need. I'm, I guess, regretful that I haven't tried to learn other languages and understand.
That's going to take another 7 years then before the next trip.
Yeah, but there's usually enough common language, whether it's some sign language or some English, to be able to communicate and get what you need. The other thing that is very handy today is Google Translate, or a
yes.
translate app of some kind.
But there are so many parts of Asia itself where you cannot get the internet and the connection. How do you cope then?
That's true. So in China, for example, a lot of the American-based apps don't work.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
yeah, you can still download other apps that give you a similar kind of service, or you have what's called a VPN app that you can then allow yourself to be a little bit more anonymous, and it allows you to use some of those apps and still be effective. But for example, riding through Tibet in China, they have a different map app that you can use. It's called AMAP, very effective. So it tells you where petrol stations are, where food is, where hotels are. So you're never really, I don't ever feel like I'm not
Marooned.
knowing where I'm going.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. I want to ask you, what has been your interaction with the people whom you've met along the way? They must be intrigued by this foreign guy who's coming from this crazy guy coming from a distant land, and why is he doing this, and what has been their reaction to you?
Yeah. First of all, I can say that my experience with people from, who I do not know, has been absolutely amazing.
Really?
Yeah, people are interested to know why you're doing it,
Yes.
as you've said. And so I have an opportunity to talk to people. I've been stopped by lots of guys, especially bikers on the road, and they want to find out what I'm doing, where I'm from, and they would usually offer me food, so we'd go and have food together. I just have found that absolutely amazing. People around the world are generally good, hospitable, kind. You hear a few stories about things that don't go well, but I have not ever experienced that, so far anyway, on this journey.
Somebody's guiding you from above.
I believe
I
so.
do believe.
I believe so, yes.
Now, as you plan, have you actually chalked out your entire trip? Have you chalked it out to the extent where you will spend 2 days here or 3 days here in this place? And how does that work for you? Is that the way to do it?
Yes. So originally, initially, what I did was I made a very detailed plan with the locations I wanted to stop at and the people I wanted to see that I already know. But of course, as I go along, I meet new people and have the opportunity to stay with them. So I usually try to plan about a month in advance. But interestingly, even after 3 months, I have arrived in Chennai when I had planned to. So I'm exactly on schedule at the moment.
That's good.
Yeah. So, but there's a few things that have happened that don't allow me to do what I want. For example, the border between India and Pakistan is closed, so I can't go through there.
You can't go through Pakistan.
I can't go through Iran at the moment.
Iran,
It's not safe. So I will be detouring around those two countries and actually arriving in Turkey after I leave India.
Okay.
And things like that. You have to be adaptable and change as you go along. And then what I do is, as I get closer to the places where I'm hoping to stop, then I make some firm arrangements with the people there. Enough time for them to promote that I'm coming and that I can get an audience to talk to.
Are you in fact able to touch base with home in New Zealand all as you've been going through?
Actually, the technology and the connectivity that you have with the world today is amazing. I usually get a SIM card in each country that I go to, so I have cell phone coverage in most places, only the very small few places which I can't get coverage. But for example, I have on my helmet, I have a communication device that allows me to connect to my phone.
Okay, this helmet that's sitting here.
It has speakers on the inside and it has a microphone at the front, so I can actually talk to family at home as I'm driving along, or take a call and people don't even know that I'm traveling on my motorcycle.
Wow, that's pretty high tech, I might say.
That's really good, actually.
Yeah. So let me ask now, now you've done Chennai, now I do know that you did a very long ride the other day, down the East Coast Road, which is one of our prettier routes to actually travel. Was that fun? How many people were there for you?
Yeah. It was great. So there was a group of local riders who organised the trip, and we set off down the East Coast Road to a place called the Madras Off-Road Academy.
Yeah.
And we spent some time there, and I talked about what I was doing and so on. And I guess like every other group I speak to, there's always this interest of, why would you do this?
Yeah.
And tell us a little bit about it. How do you deal with
whatever.
same thing, language.
Yes.
What sort of things how did you plan it? What sort of things do you take with you? All of those questions. And these guys were more, I guess, interested in bikes because they're a bike club. So they were asking more technical questions like, what's the mileage per litre of petrol? How often do you change the fuel? Where do you get tyres? All of those things.
Right.
So it was good to have that interaction with these guys because I guess that's what
close
makes
to
me
their
tick
heart
as well.
and
Yeah.
close to your heart as
Yes.
well, I can see.
Yes.
What happens if you have a breakdown on the way? What would you do?
Yeah, so far thank the Lord, that hasn't happened. I haven't even had a flat tire at this point.
Oh.
But I do carry enough spares to cope with most things that are likely to happen. If I have a major engine failure, for example, then I don't know, I'll have to call.
You haven't had that yet?
I have insurance if things like that happen, but I'm hoping that won't happen. And really what you do is you prevent it by making sure the bike is well maintained.
Right. So you are actually very familiar with the mechanics of your bike and, you know, what keeps it going. I dare say that that's what it is.
Yeah, as far as I can be. That's not my background at all, but I have done a lot of preparation work and trying to understand the bike and making sure it's in as good a shape as it possibly can be before I leave. Now, the bike is not a new bike. It's a 23-year-old bike. And so, yeah, it's already
really?
done a lot of work before I left home. And so I did have the opportunity to pull it apart and understand how things work, replace parts that I knew would likely be a problem if I hadn't changed them before I left, and things like that, just to make sure that it was, you know, as good as it could be before it left home.
Right. I'm thinking you must have an amazing travel agent who has had to cope with all the kind of visas that you must need for every country. That must be a nightmare.
Actually, I did all this myself. And
Really?
yeah, so AI is wonderful. So you can actually ask, and this is what I did as a research method, is I actually put in the countries I was planning to travel through and asked AI, please tell me which of these countries I need a visa, how long I can stay, do I need vehicle insurance, all of these kinds of things. And within a few minutes, you get the results. Now, I always advise people using AI that you should check to make sure that it's accurate.
Right.
But mostly it's been really, really helpful and accurate.
Right. Let me now take you to your onward journey from Chennai. What are your future plans? Which way are you going? How are you going to, which areas are you going to cross now?
So from here, I hope to travel west towards Kerala.
Okay.
And I will stop at Salem, Ooty, and then a place called 𝗔𝗱𝗃, where I hope to visit another New Zealand lady who has spent her life here in India looking after people in an orphanage. And so I'll stay there for a little while, and then I'll head north to through Bangalore, and then out to the coast to Goa, and then north to Mumbai. When I reach Mumbai, that's the port city, which I will put the bike back in a crate, and it will go on a ship to Turkey, to Istanbul. And because of the fact I can't travel by road to get to there, and then I will continue further northwest from there through to Greece, and then Albania, up through Croatia, Slovenia, Italy, Switzerland, Germany, Austria. Then I'll cross into the Netherlands, down to Belgium, France, and then over to the UK.
Right. But your eventual destination is Ireland.
That's correct.
Why Ireland?
Yeah. Well, first
Ancestry of Ireland?
Yes.
I thought so.
My father has Irish heritage and my mother has Scottish heritage. So my parents' ancestors arrived in New Zealand in 1853.
Okay.
So it's been a long time since we had family in the UK, but they'll still be there. And I'm interested to see if I can find some trace of that. But probably the main reason is one of the guys that is also a friend of CMCT is living in Belfast.
Okay.
So I'm planning to finish the ride there, just as I guess as a way of putting a full stop on the end of it.
Have you been there before to Ireland?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
No.
All these years away. Okay, then that's something to really, really look forward to. And how long will you be there then?
Probably 1 or 2 weeks I will be there. And then the bike goes on into a crate again and then is brought back to New Zealand. I'm not sure if you're familiar, and for those who are interested, you have to, when you travel through different countries, you need what's called a carnet, which is basically a temporary import document for the vehicle.
Oh.
And each country you go in, they stamp it in and stamp it out. And then you have to pay a deposit for that so that you don't sell the bike or dispose of it somewhere along the way. And then when you bring it back to New Zealand, you get the deposit back, which is a significant amount of money.
Really, that is so interesting. This bike is going to be the most precious thing in your life, I can see. What will you do with your bike when you go back? You put it in the museum,
yeah,
or you continue to ride it, or what?
I've thought about that a lot, and I might retire it and put it, in the shed and
admire it.
Yeah, by being, being able to view it each day, but just retire it because it's done its work. It's been very faithful. I don't know, to be honest.
You haven't thought that far
I
yet.
haven't thought a lot about it, but, in terms of where it will be, whether it's a museum, but I'd probably retire it, is what I'm thinking.
Tell me now, you're going to be going through Europe, as you just said, and, all of those countries. Are you looking forward to that part of the journey now? Because that's a totally different ball game to what you have seen in Australia and New Zealand and all of Asia and Southeast Asia. These are our countries here, the neighboring countries. Are you looking forward to that part of the journey?
Absolutely, yes. I think the thing that I'll be aware of is that I'm going into their summer. And so now I've had a summer in New Zealand and summer here in the Northern Hemisphere.
Very bad summer too this time.
It's very hot.
You're bad news. You chose the wrong time for here.
Yeah, and unfortunately the timing had to be that way because I don't want to get to the UK when it's in the winter.
It's too cold.
To Europe.
Yes.
So that was how it had to be. I am looking forward to it. I mean, as travellers or as people who are interested in travel, you see all these beautiful places in the world that people have been to and photographed and maybe videoed and made films about. I am looking forward to experiencing some of that. I think there's one thing that I'm not looking forward to. There are reports in some of these places that you're not actually that safe. You have to be very careful with your motorcycle, and there's been reports of motorcycles being stolen and things. So, and that's one thing I have to say, on all the journey so far to here, I have never felt threatened or in a place where I'm feeling unsafe or that the bike is unsafe. I often leave it in places where it's vulnerable if people wanted to take things, but that's never happened.
So sometimes you must be on a wing and a prayer for sure, I'm sure.
Yeah, I guess what I'm saying here is that I think that there are some really lovely people around the world. They appreciate and they value other people and their property. They respect their property.
Right.
So I'm sure there's exceptions, but in general, that's been my experience.
By and large. Now, as a child, did you dream of travel? Did you like travel? Were you in a family that enjoyed traveling or anything like that? Where did this bug bite you?
Yeah, that's a good question. No, I was raised in just a very average family on a farm. I didn't have great education. I did 3 years of secondary education. I got my school certificate in 5 subjects, and then I left and got a building apprenticeship. I spent 4 years learning the trade, and then worked for various people, and then we had a business together, my wife and I. And we travelled a little bit, and I enjoyed it. I've come to India a number of times over the years, and so this is really what grabbed my attention, I suppose, for what I'm doing at the moment. The first time I came here was 2009. Actually, to Chennai.
Right.
Now, you'll remember the tsunami on Boxing Day 2004.
Indeed. Yes, of course.
So there was quite a lot of damage on the East Coast Road, actually.
I covered the story, so I'm very familiar with it.
Right.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Exactly. So Colleen found a village that was decimated by the tsunami.
Oh, yes.
Houses were destroyed. Fishing boats and nets were taken.
It was a disaster.
Yeah. So she made a commitment to actually help this particular village. It was in Chinnakupam. And then she made the call, can people come and help to help rebuild the village? I have a construction background, so I brought some teams from New Zealand over a 4-year period, and we helped rebuild the houses down there at Chinnakupam. And that's where my love of India started, and in particular for CMCT and Colleen, and just the admiration for what she had done and started there. And so this is what this is about. It's about bringing some support and some help from around the world. And in so doing, I'm able to travel to different places to talk to people about it. So it's not really answering your question. The bug that I got, started by traveling to here. And I have had the opportunity to travel to a few other places, but this motorcycle trip, I guess, is giving me the detail to be able to go from A to B and all the places in between and see some of the lovely parts of the world.
I've just been thinking, now you've done this, but as you're going along, what are you doing? Are you keeping a diary? Have you got is your gadgetry on this thing, you know, putting out stories, or what is it? Are you telling the way it is, you know, as you're going along? Is that what you're doing? Are you putting it out on YouTube? What are you doing?
Yes.
To make it known, I'm really asking.
Yes. So I have a diary that I'm taking, and I put some details in there that I don't want to forget. But mainly what I'm doing is I'm videoing this as I go, and I have a video set up on the bike, and the microphone in the helmet connects with that, and I have good audio. I have a YouTube channel, and it's documented along the way.
So can I actually see it if I put it on?
Absolutely. Yeah. So it's called
Yes, please tell me.
Up from Down Under.
Up from Down Under.
Yeah,
okay.
which is a little bit of a. Let me explain what Up from Down Under means. So you might know that New Zealand and Australia
down under.
are third
Both are down under.
That's right.
Yeah, very much.
We're at the bottom of the world.
Yes.
And geographically, I'm going up from down under. But it also has a connection with the work that Colleen's doing. She's bringing people up from under poverty and oppression.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's kind of a double meaning, if you like. So that's what it's called, Up from Down Under. That is the same for the the Facebook and the Instagram channel as well. So
on the YouTube, what can I say to my viewers that they can enter in Up from Down Under? Is that all it takes?
Yes, Up from Down Under, and you'll see a picture of me there. There's a couple of others that have a similar name, so you have to choose the right one.
Around here.
But the greatest thing that people could do to help me is to give the videos a like. So there's a little button that you can push, and it's a thumbs up button. And what happens is that if enough people click these like buttons, then the algorithms in YouTube actually start promoting the videos a little more.
That's the way to go forward, I really think so. Yeah. And I, at this point, would like to thank you so much for coming here, for talking with me.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the very best. Be safe and have a good onward journey. You've still got 6 months to go, and you probably, by the end of this, actually hit your target. Thank you so much, Baden, for being here. I do know that you've just got a very few days. You probably need all the rest you can for the next couple of days. But thank you for your time today. I do appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much indeed. Well, it was really lovely to talk with Baden about this wonderful journey that he's on and what he's trying to achieve by doing this. And I do hope that you have enjoyed listening to him. I think his story is inspiring. It's really a fascinating tale. And you take care until the next time. I'll see you again. Bye for now.